DirtFish Rally. Friends, welcome back to Portugal. What a rally we have enjoyed here, David. Sunday afternoon, we've had a few hours to cogitate over today's action out in the stages. And there's been a lot of cogitating going on.
You spent years cogitating.
Rather, it's a great one. I'm not really sure what cogitate means. You're the wordsmith.
I think you're a cogitator. You look like a cogitator today.
You've been winding us up with definitions of words today, David, that we've taken as gospel.
Yeah.
He's the wordsmith. But yes, we've had a bit of time since the cars made their way through that second running of Fafe, really to take in what has been a really great rally. And I think we've got to start with Toyota, and in particular our rally winner, Kalle Rovanperä. David, an exceptional performance, and in most circles, apart from me, an unexpectedly good performance.
Is there any such thing as unexpected with Kalle Rovanperä anymore?
Don't think so. Not after this. Not after this.
There's not, is there? You know, everything that we said a lot before Croatia, and he delivered there. We said a lot here. You know, clearly this week there was a big piece on DirtFish where Luke Barry looked at, this was the last thing, the last question really that Kalle had to answer. He'd won on snow, he'd won on tarmac, he'd won on gravel, fast gravel, slow gravel, everywhere. But could he lead, could he win from the front? In the way that you'd only ever really seen Sebastian Loeb or Sebastian Ogier. Marcus Grunwald was quite good at it as well. And yeah, he can. I mean, just absolutely delivered, didn't he? Just
yeah, 100%.
In a way that, you know, yesterday, Saturday afternoon, he was, what, 16 and a half seconds behind Elfyn going into the afternoon. And you just kind of thought, it's only going one way now. Because, you know, they were on a level playing field. And Elfyn was confident, he was talking the talk. But Kalle's just got that thing about him right now. You know, we're in a part of the world where Nazaré is just over the coast there with the biggest waves in the world. We did that brilliant piece. You did that brilliant piece.
Looking forward to this link.
He's right on the top.
On the crest of the biggest wave, the most powerful wave.
The world's biggest wave, an 80-foot wave. Kalle is sat right on top of it. And what's he doing, Cole? He's not surfing it.
The choppy waves.
He's riding it.
He's riding the wave. He's absolutely riding that
the
wave. But listen, it is interesting because, you know, we did take a bit of a straw poll amongst the DirtFish experts before the event, top three, and only one of our experts put Kalle in the top three.
Was that me?
That was me. But I wasn't going to say that. So, you know what? He has answered it in some style.
Yeah.
But let's hear from Kalle himself. Let's hear where Kalle thinks maybe Kalle, how do we say it?
Kalle Rovanperä.
Rovanperä thinks he won this rally.
Yeah, it was a bit unexpected. I didn't really think on Friday that we can do a rally like this and be in a good pace all the time. But yeah, problem-free rally, still pushing hard all the time, and getting the maximum points was nice. Always when I see a chance, I try to use it the best way I can, and that's the way you should do. Try to maximize the points always.
It's quite ruthless. It's quite ruthless. You're not giving anyone else a chance.
Yeah, for a few rallies now. Let's see what happens in the next ones.
Yeah, David, there's no question. His performance, as you've already hinted at on that opening day, was exceptional, and that put him in a position then really to contest the win. An unbelievable performance, and you know, for someone who is not yet 22, you know, the scary thing, the really scary thing, is that he is only going to get better and better and better. Who is going to challenge him going forward?
I don't know. That's the issue, isn't it, this year? We've got a fairly weak car, could you say, from Hyundai? I'd have to say, you know, it's not a strong car from Hyundai. Breen has struggled a little bit here with M-Sport. Ogier, Loeb, they're not doing full programs. There's not really anybody that's holding their hand up and saying, me, Thierry Neuville. I think it's very easy to overlook Thierry. You know, he has battled like hell through Croatia, and he's driven brilliantly here as well. And he's, you know, you feel sorry for all of the drivers at Hyundai, but I really, really feel sorry for Thierry because you feel that he's putting in more effort. I was thinking this morning, is there a time in Thierry's career where he's worked harder for less reward? Worked harder, driven harder, and I put this to him and he said no. He said, you know, I've never worked harder, never driven harder than I'm driving right now. And look where he is.
And
you know,
we said that about the last generation of Hyundai, and we were looking forward to this new one being a new start for him. It's not happened, but let's just quickly go back, David, to Toyota, because you said who's putting their hand up and saying, me, I'm going to challenge him. The name you didn't mention there was Elfyn Evans. Elfyn Evans has made a big step forward.
He's put points on the board, hasn't he?
Most importantly, after a disastrous start to the year, he has put points on the board. But Is he a challenger anymore? I don't think he's a
No,
challenger.
come on, Cole. Order now. We're 4 rounds in. Let's not get.
I'm going to tell you, folks,
That
what
wasn't
we've sat. We sat and did. So
That
we sat
wasn't
down
my
for an hour.
idea.
We took an hour out. We sat at lunch. And honestly, I didn't get involved in this conversation. But there was quite a lot of discussion. There were 2 calculators out at one point, working out when Kalle Rovanperä could mathematically win the title.
Yeah.
So
I was only in it for the maths.
I gave up after the
I did
first
come
2
up with a
seconds.
almost definitive answer. But let's not forget, it's a mechanical sport. We're 4 rounds in. We've got 9 rounds to go. Anything can happen. If Gap's 46 points, it's quite. He's going to be champion by summer, isn't he? It's inevitable.
Yes, but listen, let's hear from Elfyn, because it was a good event from Elfyn's point of view, particularly with that difficult start he had.
Kalle was very, very strong and he deserved to win. But from our side, it's still, I would say, positive. It's been a very difficult start to the year. I think we needed this strong result to at least build from. There's plenty of areas I can see that we can improve on. So it's positive moving forward, I think.
In terms of the title, the word I used when I spoke to Kalle was ruthless. He's just not giving anyone a chink of light, is he?
No, he's not. He's had a pretty good start to the year. It's very fair to say, and he's going to be hard to catch. But of course, we're not giving up.
He needed to win here. Yes, he did. But what he really didn't need was another DNF.
Oof.
And that's where you actually think Kalle was almost more free, wasn't he? He's the one with the massive buffer, 29 points coming in. Elfyn couldn't give it that absolute maximum, couldn't give it everything, because if he'd come away with a 0, that could well have been championship over for him.
Now, we came perilously close to a Toyota 1, 2, 3, which again one of our experts predicted might happen this weekend.
Was that me?
No, that was me. Well, what a great battle. What a great battle
Came
it was.
perilously close to seeing Aaron Johnson on the podium for the first time.
For the very first time. Katsuta-san against Dani Sordo. You know what, Sordo's come out on the Sunday before and has sometimes failed to impress, hasn't he, with his performances?
Not
Goodness
today.
me, not today. He came out, yes, you have to say it was in his favour and that he knew the stages. But, the momentum was with Katsuta-san. It really was. He was the one that was improving, that was pushing hard, that was in the Toyota. But Sordo came out and let's just watch this Sordo interview, because there are a couple of things that are interesting about it. Let's hear from Dani Sordo.
Yeah, the last stage was good. The others was okay, but Taka was doing. He was giving all, and he was really fast. And last stage, he was 2 seconds in front. I say now I need to go for it. If not, it's all or nothing. It's like I said to Thierry before. When I'm a start line of Fafe, I always think in 3 places. It comes to my mind. It's the first jump of Fafe. This jump is very difficult, and it's few corners before. We have like 2 right corners, flat out, and these corners are, for me, are the more nicest corner in the life. It's like, and you think in these 2 corners, because it's very easy to make a mistake there, but it's flat, and this jump and Fafe jump, and he come to your mind. Even if you don't want, he come at you.
What you can tell from that, David, is he's in a different place right now. He is so relaxed and so enjoying his driving.
He's been there for a couple of years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We talked about this for a long time recently, Cole, that Sordo is somewhere that he wants to be right now. He's not doing loads of testing. He's not flying off on long hauls all the time. He's doing the rallies he wants to do. Probably not quite as many as he would like to do this year, but he's in a good place. But having said that, he's also in a very difficult place because he'd never driven the car before.
And that showed on Friday morning with his road position. He should have had more of an advantage. He didn't make the most of that.
He didn't. But the flip side of all of that, I made the point to you that that he hadn't spent long in the car, but you were saying, he knows these stages really well. That was definitely an advantage when they came to Fafe the second time through. But I've got to be perfectly honest, and Danny, please don't take this the wrong way, but I expected Taka to win. I expected a massive attack from Taka, and you just thought, this will be Danny. Lovely fella, but he'll finish fourth. Yeah. Not a chance. Right from the first corner, he was absolutely on it, and he had that thing pinned, and he made that car work through that stage, through that stage. But I do think there's still like Thierry's done all through this event and probably all through the season. Danny's ability to get that 3rd place masked a whole load of issues in the car.
Yeah, and I put this question to Monse at the end, Julian Monse, the deputy team principal. 3rd and 5th, he'll go home tonight. will he see that as a good weekend? They
No.
can't. They absolutely can't.
They
Ott
weren't at the
Tänak-
races.
Ott Tänak he's lost. I asked Ott Tänak what needs to be improved. Everything was the response.
Yeah.
You know, Thierry Neuville, very similar. You know, he said, I can't disagree with Ott. They've got a heck of a lot of work still to do.
And still,
is it possible?
No, it's not. It's
Right,
not. I
right.
know where the question's going. It's not possible. They will go to Sardinia very firmly on the back foot because they cannot do anything between here and there.
Ott Tänak, it's such a pity to see Ott Tänak still struggling. We really, really hoped that this just wasn't a renaissance for Hyundai this year, but it was an absolute renaissance for Tänak, and it isn't happening, and that's an absolute crime, I'd have to say. A driver of his talent languishing and not winning rallies. We should be watching him battling against Rovanperä, against Elfyn Evans, you know, against hopefully Craig Breen, and we'll come on to that in a second. It's an absolute crime that we're not seeing the best of Ott Tänak in potentially his best years. M Sports, David, you know what, there are positives, and the positive was the performance of Loeb, which was clearly quite stunning for 3 or 4 stages. But there were some problems with that car this weekend. There was the dust issue affecting all cars. There was the brake issue affecting a number of the cars. And then there was the number one driver.
There were some hybrid
affecting-
issues as well.
Hybrid
thrown in
issues
there.
as well.
Yeah.
The number one driver, yet again, failing to really hit the high notes that we know he can hit. Is anything developing there in terms of the crisis?
No, not at all.
I'm asking the question, that's all. I don't believe that, I'm
No,
asking the
I don't
question.
think there is. Totally, and you're absolutely right to ask the question, but I think you do need to remember that that Craig hasn't been here, and this is an event. Portugal notoriously is an event that you need to learn. You know, people talk about Finland being a place to learn. This is just as tricky an event. You know, with lots of corners on the crest and all sorts. That said, probably we should have expected a bit more from Craig. But it would have been easy for him to chuck the car off early. He had issues throughout the event, didn't he? I mean, let's face it. And fine, you know, all of the other drivers talked about the dust, but when you're wearing glasses,
do we think he can bounce back? You know,
Yes.
Again, we talk about road position in Portugal. Now, you might argue that it wasn't such a...
stop this. Stop
What?
this. Let's
Stop what?
absolutely spike this conversation until after Sardinia, because Craig's been to Sardinia more.
I was going to say, can he bounce back with a win?
No,
That's all I was going to
that
ask.
might be a bit much, but I think we should park all of these conversations about Craig and pick them up in Sardinia, because there he's got a good place on the road. He knows where he's going.
Yeah. No, I was going
Hopefully
to say
they'll-
I think he can bounce back with a win.
Really? Sorry,
I
Craig.
really think he can bounce
Yeah.
back with a win.
So you
because
think he's going to be in the harbour? You did ask him if he could swim today, didn't you? He can swim in Italian.
He said, I can do anything. I can swim very well.
Yep.
So, you know, not the weekend M Sport we're looking for, but, you know, there are positives that they will take away, that's for sure.
Yep.
David, highlight of the weekend for you?
For me, actually, Dani Sordo today. You know, the obvious one is Calle's speed, but yeah,
Sordo. I do
and
Sordo.
as well as that, just a number of people out on the stages, and actually, no, the policeman, the Portuguese. I'm sorry, mate. Apart from the rather rude Portuguese policeman who insinuated that I couldn't drive because he had to move the cone
He did.
to let us pass.
He did.
But no, great job.
He sussed David Evans out really
Yeah,
quickly, that
obviously.
policeman. Yeah, you know, my highlight of the weekend, yeah, very much a couple of drivers, Katsuta-san, Dani Sordo, the fans who, as always, here in Portugal, behaved themselves impeccably and turned out in enormous numbers. You only have to look at Fafe today, the super specials in the various towns and villages that we visited. The number of people on the road sections, David,
remarkable.
was at 6 o'clock in the morning. There were people out on the road sections. They do love their rallying in this part of the world, and they've had a great
So do we.
show. So do
We love rallying
absolutely
in this
love
part
it.
of the world.
And we love it here in the
Yeah.
DirtFish house, and we'll be booking it up for next year, that's for sure. Folks, it's been an absolute blast here in Portugal. Join us at the DirtFish Big Brother house in Sardinia in 2 weeks, where we will be once again enjoying the exploits from some of the very best drivers in the world.
Now go and lie down in a darkened room.